Hello and welcome everybody. It is 21st June 2025 and it is the 189th session of Mindfulness for Beginners in English conducted by Nissarana Vanaya. I would like to warmly welcome Venerable Rohini for this session once more. And we would also like to welcome everyone who's participating via Zoom and Facebook live stream and whoever may be watching later on. Our program, as usual, will commence with the in-session practice of mindfulness, which will then follow with a talk on today's topic. It will then follow with any questions and any reports that we have received, presenting it to Venerable Rohini. To start today's session, I now invite Venerable Rohini.
Thank you, Sonali. Hello, everyone. So we will start the in-session session. I think we are going to do today, we are going to do mindful sitting. So I will invite you all to sit comfortable manner. So comfortable manner means you need to sit symmetrically. Your body need to be in symmetrical way. And you can close your eyes gently and keep your hands also in a comfortable manner. So once you sit in a comfortable way, you can scan your body from top to bottom, how you feel. The head, you might feel the head on top of the neck in a balanced manner. If it is not balanced, you can adjust your muscles. Just relax them, the shoulders and the neck muscle. You may feel the backbone straight. You may feel that bended knees. If your feet touch the ground, you might feel them. Once again, we can do body scan from top, the head. You may feel your eyes. They are closed gently. You may feel your lips touch each other. Neck, the shoulders. The bottom touched your seat. The bended knees. And wherever touch the ground, you may feel it. If you can concentrate on bodily movements, if you feel them, the raising chest, expansion and contraction of tummy. You may feel your breath sometimes. Inhale and exhale through your nostrils, or maybe you feel the tummy rising and falling. When it is rising, you may feel your clothes get tightened. If you feel the breath, whatever the prominent feeling, you can observe. Observing the prominent feeling is easier than looking for something else. So, right now, whatever the prominent, you can observe it. It can be the breath, it can be the tummy movement, or a prominent feeling. You might get distraction from outside things, the sounds, thoughts, just not to worry about them. Whenever distraction happens, just let it go. Whenever you are aware of it, you can bring your attention back to the prominent feeling. Okay, everyone can open eyes.
Thank you, Venerable Rohini. So next on the agenda is the talk on today's topic. It's a new topic this week. We're discussing these consequences. To start the talk on today's topic, I now invite Venerable Rohini once again.
Thank you, Sonali. Hello, everyone again. So today's topic is consequences, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it is an interesting topic. The consequences are always go with the activities, decisions, and whenever we do something, so the consequences are there. When we get, as an example, when we consider children, the babies, they don't have any experience to recollect. So they don't know the consequences. So what has happened when they are not having any recollection about any consequences, they do everything they can. If they can touch the fire, they will, because they don't know the consequences. When it is allowed, when it is available, as long as the poo is warm, they like to touch. Likewise, they do everything, whatever they come across, they like to touch, they like to smell, they like to eat, because they don't have consequences. They don't have any knowledge about consequences. So, but adults, as adults, after 5-6 years old, so we all get little by little, the whatever happen, whatever we do, whatever we think, there are some consequences. So we need to take care about those things, because the consequences are not affecting to myself or my family, or not only for close friends, but it will affect to whole other community also. So there's some consequences are like that. What we need to do, what we need to think about, if you do something foolish, when we do something unskillful, the consequences are also unskillful. Whatever we need to face is unskillful things. So when we need to think about it, what we are doing, or what we are saying, so all those things, if we are not mindful enough to get the awareness, then we do, most of the time we do without thinking. We say things without any consideration. So that will, sometimes that will harm others, that will sometimes hurt others, sometimes that will helpful for others. So whatever the consequences, we need to know, we need to understand beforehand. So that is the beginning of the talk I would like to mention. So we need to have kind of mindfulness also there, to understand the consequences as well as deal with consequences. According to Newton, any action has a reaction. So we know that if we do any careless actions, so often we do without knowing or without any awareness, then those lead to negative outcomes. So, what we are going to discuss today, how we need to understand and how we do that, and how we overcome these negative consequences, or even for positive one. Maybe it is positive for me, but maybe it is not positive for others. So likewise, we need to understand the consequences, and we need to overcome the negative consequences. So how we going to do this is what I am going to talk today. Every decision we make, every action we do have consequences. Mostly consequences are shaping our lives, either positive or negative, but both are shaping our lives. Usually positive consequences gives us happiness or peace in mind. In opposite, negative consequences are giving the challenges, the stress, all negative things. So mostly as we all following the Buddhist scripts, so each consequences relates to karma also. So we need to understand that either it positive or negative doesn't matter. Either positive and negative both are related to the karma. So that is also very important thing we should know and we need to understand. So when we consider the consequences in everyday context, so we do physical actions, we do verbal actions, and we have mental actions. The all three are affecting individually or collective as a collective decision or as a community. So whatever we do, whatever we say, whatever we think, mostly affect to us, myself, as well as the community or the family or the friends, close relatives, likewise. So we need to think about those things before we do something or before we say something and before we think something. So what we need to understand, for example, as an individual, if we are not care about our health, if we are not doing any good enough exercise or having plenty of water or something like that, if we are not careful about health, that is individual consequences we have to face. As well as if we are sick, the consequences are there for family also. That is in a simple manner. And as a country or as a region, as a city, when they do some kind of decisions, people do, governments do some decisions, those are affecting to whole country, maybe whole region. So likewise, whatever the decision we take individually as well as a group or as a community, so those will affect to the other people. So when we consider about, as I said before, when we consider about these actions, the physical actions and the verbal actions and the mental actions in a scripts, we have some kind of morals. So what we need to do using our body is restricted. Like we should not kill animals. We should not harm animals. And we should not steal things. That is the bodily actions. And we should not conduct sexual misconduct. So those are bodily action we should not do. And also when we consider verbal actions, there are 4 actions in script. We should not say lies. We should not say any divisive words and harsh words. So likewise, there are some limitations. So there are some restrictions for people to conduct the moral behavior. So when we consider physical actions, usually we should, if we are considering the consequences, we should behave or we should do bodily actions that are not causing any unskillful qualities. If some unskillful qualities are developing or growing within us when we do something, that we should not do. So if we are developing skillful qualities within us when we do something using our body, then we should do that. So, for example, if we can give up all the killings or hurting any living beings, that is the first moral, that is the first precept actually. So if we can protect, not killing, not harming any animals or any living beings, but instead we are protecting them. If we can protect them, then we are having some skillful qualities, we are growing within us, we are helping to grow skillful qualities. So, and if we are not stealing, and if we are giving up stealing and protecting others' properties or others' belongings and things like that, if we are going to help them, that is also we help to develop good qualities or skillful qualities within us. So that is the bodily actions. And the third one is sexual misconduct. If we can give up sexual misconduct, so there's a sutta actually, so it says if there's a lady or woman belong or living under parents, brothers, sisters, or under any uncles, aunties, or likewise, if someone is living under someone's protection, that is the one who we need to protect, women. So likewise, we need to consider all those things. If we break those things, then the consequences are there. Whatever if we kill an animal or if we kill any living being, the consequences are coming back behind us. We need to understand that. If we steal something from someone or someplace, the consequences will come back to us. One day, someone will steal our things. And we need to live afraid of those things. If we steal, so I know it will come back. So by doing that, we have kind of scariness in the life. So we need to understand those things. The consequences is not only punishing us. The punishment is if you steal something, maybe government will punish you. Maybe you need to go to the jail. But that is not the only punishment. The punishment also, the consequences is something also different from that. That is the whatever the punishment from government or by that whatever the punishment from the family is something relatively something low. When you consider about the life cycle, if you have to face something like that in your next life, or if someone will try to kill you, then you will understand the real consequences. And in the same way, the verbal behaviors causes many skillful qualities as well as unskillful qualities. If you want to grow or if you want to develop your skillful qualities, then you need to follow, like if you are not saying any lies, then you are a good one. Then you are developing good skills. Then you are developing skillful qualities. And sometimes when you have to say lies, for example, at home, sometimes moms and dads, they say lies to children when they don't have any way to say the truth. Sometimes they have to. Then you need to consider whether your lying is better than keeping quiet. If you can keep quiet rather than saying lie, it's the best thing. So you need to understand that because whenever you lie to someone, you are trying to mislead that person. That misleading is not good for especially for a meditator or especially for a spiritual, trying to be a spiritual life, developing spiritual life. So likewise. And the second one is divisive speech. So if you can give up the divisive speech. Instead, if you can reconcile the divided people, supporting for the unity, delighting in harmony. So if you can nourish the harmony between two groups or two people, and if you can spread the loving kindness within the group, so that is something you can develop within you, that develop skillful qualities. And the third one is harsh speech. If you are saying harsh speeches to someone, or even at home or at a workplace or wherever, then the harsh speeches hurt other people's mind or other people's heart or other people's thinking. So when you distract those with those harsh words, that is not good. And that is that within you also you are developing unskillful qualities. So you need to give up harsh words. You need to have some pleasing words. You need to have lovely words or loving kindness or the heartfelt words, polite, likable words. So people agreeable words. But that is what you need to develop. Otherwise, the consequences are there. When you say harsh words, you need to face the harsh words back. Someone else will talk to you in the same way. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. So maybe in next life, we don't know. But if we say something or if we do something like that, then you have to face the consequences from that. Also that if we are talking about meaningless words, whatever you say, it should be timely true, meaningful. Otherwise, you are trying to mislead someone. If you are trying to do that, someday, as a consequences, someone will try to mislead you. So it is very simple. Whatever you do, it will come back to you. So if you do some foolish things, it will come back to you as the foolish price. So that is so simple. When I Google for this, actually, when you do foolish game, you will win the foolish, that is what we say, right? You will win foolish prizes. That is, I think, in a social media, according to Google. Google said that's usually used in Google social media. So maybe social media people, they use them kind of unnecessary games or something. So then they will have consequences like unlawful or unskillful prizes. However, the mental behavior also, we need to have skillful mental behavior. So what we need to do to proceed good mental behavior or skillful mental behavior, we need to have uncovered feelings. Uncoveredness is what we need to develop within us. If we are greedy for someone else's wealth or someone else's belongings, sometimes when someone else is having a promotion in workplace, so maybe I feel like, if I can have that. So what Buddha says, what in the script, we should not covetous about others' wealth, others' belongings, others' properties, or others' job, whatever. When we see something, naturally it comes. What we need to do, we need to be very mindful about it, and we need to break that vicious cycle about covetous. And the other thing is ill will. So if we want to have a good mental behavior, to develop the skillful behavior, to develop by developing skillful mental behavior, we are going to avoid the bad consequences. So even when we think something like that, when we have that kind of attitude, I want to have something that the next door person has, so that is not good thing. So when we have that greediness, so we develop unskillful qualities that leads to unskillful life also. So that is why we should not develop like that, and we should stop thinking like that, ill will as in the same way. So what we are practicing mindfulness, when we are practicing mindfulness, for example, as a beginner, when you sit to practice mindfulness, so you are trying to observe your breath, or you are trying to observe the posture. Whenever you are trying to do that, all the distractions, obstacles come through. When the sounds are distracting you, when the thoughts are distracting you, sometimes the pains distract you. So whenever that happens, you are developing within you, you develop patience. If without patience, you can't go forward. Whenever you want to observe the breath or observe the posture, you need to ignore the other obstacles. You need to ignore the other distractions. Otherwise, you have to put your attention on each and everything. So when it is difficult, you develop within you as a skill the patience. So that patience is growing and spreading throughout your life. That is what happened. In the beginning, we don't have that kind of a skill. So what we always complain about the distractions. The sound distract me, and the thoughts distract me, and the pain distract me. There are many people complain about different things. But whatever distracting you, if you don't have any patience towards them, you can't develop your mindfulness practice. So when you are practicing all those things, you have developing, or you are developing within you the skillful patience. When you develop that, you can, whenever you go out, when something happen from outside people, when they blame you, when they do harsh words towards you, you have that skill that you are not thinking about a skill that you are developing for those things, but it is developing naturally when you practice mindfulness. So practicing mindfulness, one is you don't know that whatever you are developing within you, you don't know. When it comes to face some distractions, or something harsh words, or someone is stealing your things, or someone is trying to hurt you, then only you can understand whatever I am developing is very skillful and it is helpful. So by practicing mindfulness, we develop within us lot of qualities. Without knowing, lot of qualities are developing within us. So because sometimes when mindfulness is there, we have some sort of accountability for what we are doing. When we feel like say harsh word, then we have some kind of feeling that the consequences are what we are going to face. Whatever the consequences are there, we should face. Then you have that accountability of what we are doing, and then you can stop in there. Sometimes you can, when you practice mindfulness and when you develop in up to a certain level of mindfulness, then you can stop or pause without having any actions, or you can reflect upon your actions, or you can choose wisely what you are going to do. So that is also having through practicing mindfulness. And also you can have a very valuable or value-driven decisions when you practice mindfulness, because you are always, you are developing skills, so that skills helping you whenever you need. So, and the other thing is the impulsive decisions. Whenever you have to get or you have to take impulsive decisions, the mindfulness will come forward and stop your decisions. Or maybe you feel like a stop and think about it and then react or respond. So those are developing through mindfulness. Whatever we are developing as a skills, we develop through mindfulness as well as from morals. So that is what I first said. When we do some physical things, we need to restrain from certain things. Whenever we restrain, we instead of restraining, we also develop some opposite characters or opposite qualities, and physical, mental, and verbal. That is three kind of qualities we are developing. So to develop those things also we need to have mindfulness. And mindfulness itself, we develop some qualities. Those are helpful for decision making, and when we have to do some kind of actions or reactions, those are very helpful. Um, and what I also want to say, benefits of mindfulness. When we practice mindfulness or sitting or walking, the resilience are there. We develop resilience. We develop kind of morals. We develop kind of shared values. So whatever our decisions are aligns with personal and shared values. Also, we are reducing impulsive responses. And we always encourage thoughtful decisions. So, and our decisions are very clear, and the clarity is there. So those things helpful for developing personal developments. And the relationship between mindfulness and consequences. So we know whatever we do, we have consequences. Those consequences are very related to karma. When we have that bad or good karma, they both are helpful for samsaric cycle. So good or bad, it doesn't matter. So whenever we have bad karma or bad thoughts or bad act or bad deeds, so when we have as a consequences, we will have bad effects. So when we understand that, actually to understand that also we need to have some kind of mindfulness. So the mindfulness is the very important thing related to when we consider the consequences or good deeds. Considering the consequences, we need to follow the good deeds. So to follow the good deeds, we need to have good mindfulness practice. So as I said before, when we are practicing mindfulness, once mindfulness is there, we develop naturally patience. The patience is, even we don't think about it. We just like try to be patient from the, to avoid the distraction from other outside while we are practicing even walking meditation or sitting meditation. So that to avoid those distractions, we develop patience. That patience is always helpful for having our kind of intentional living and resilience. So that's inspiring life. The mindfulness is in having kind of interplay within the consequences and the good deeds or the bad deeds. So what we need to think, the consequences are there. The consequences always not having bad, not having good only. The both are there. Sometimes if we are having if we don't have any intention to do some deeds, there are some deeds like that. We are without having intents, we do some things. So, for example, when we are observing the breath, maybe mind distracted with sound, but we don't want to have any ill will towards those sounds, but it will come naturally. It will come like kind of hatred feeling. Whenever the hatred feeling is there, we are not intent to do that. So likewise, there are some deeds, some actions we do with the intention. Sometimes we are without intention. So if there is some intention, if you are doing some things with the intention, or if you are having some kind of will to do that, then the consequences are very natural. So when you have the consequences, we are very reluctant to face it. Sometimes when we say, okay, the office is very troublesome, always we have, I have something to complain about it. Maybe manager is not good, maybe the colleagues are not good. So we always complain sometimes. So when we have that complaint, when we dig down to the mind, that thinking, okay, what did I do wrong? When the manager is not good, what happened? Actually, what has happened? What was wrong in my side? When you dig down, there's nothing wrong. You are completely innocent, according to your perspective or your thinking is like, I didn't do anything wrong. So I am very innocent, but still my colleagues or my husband or my children or my big boss, something is wrong. So when we can't understand, if you can't understand what is wrong, then you need to think that is something coming from past deeds, consequences. So we need to face it. Whenever those things happen, if we complain again and again, and if we are not happy about it, that means we are developing more bad deeds. So that will come again as consequences in next time, or next hour maybe, or maybe next life. We don't know. So what we need to do, we need to have good intentions or good deeds with words, verbal, physical, and mental. So to develop physical and verbal and mental good deeds, you need to consider, as I said, you have to protect four type of verbal things. One is not to tell lies. The second is not to tell divisive words, not the harsh words, not the meaningless words. So if you protect from those things, the consequences, accordingly, the good consequences you can face good consequences. And in the same way, if your physical actions, according to three kind of things. If you are not hurting other animals or any living beings, if you are be very mindful and very spreading metta, loving kindness, then you will have good consequences accordingly. And if you are not stealing something from someone, and if you are not taking anything from not given, then no one will take your things. So you will have that kind of good consequences accordingly. And when it comes to the mental situations, if you are not having any coercious deeds or thinking or desires or greediness towards others' belongings, other properties or others' prosperity, then and same as if you are not having any ill will towards other people or other living being or other things, then your morals or your mental behavior is in a good condition, or mental behavior is in a good, skillful manner. So if you can practice like that, so you need to have a mindfulness practice. If you have established mindfulness, then you will follow. You can follow those bodily actions, mental actions, and verbal actions in good manner. To follow, you need to practice the mindfulness daily. And while you are practicing, you will get that resilience within the practice, and that will spread towards all the other times and in everyday life. By doing that, you can face to the consequences. Whatever you did past, you have to face it. So not to complain about those things, just to face it. And to face, you need to have good mindfulness, establish mindfulness. So for that, whatever I said today will helpful. I hope will helpful. And thank you for listening. Over to you, Nadeep, or I don't know, Tonali. Or thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Rohini. Yes, so that was a very valuable speech. Well, next on the agenda is also the reports and questions, and it is Nadeep who will be conducting this session. So I invite Nadeep to start this now.
Thanks, Sonali. Avasarai, Venerable Manu. Sonali, should I start reading the reports first and then instructions later? I'll read the report first, right?
You can do it either way, but usually you do the instructions first, but you can.
Yeah, all right, okay. Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll start with the instruction then.
I can share the screen.
Okay, please, thank you. Right. Whoever aspiring to start the mindfulness practice, there are two instructions videos, one for mindful walking and another one for mindful sitting. So have a good look, good watch at both videos and grasp the fundamentals or basic instruction first, because it's very important to understand the basics. And also, if you are seasoned, even though you are a seasoned practitioner, as Chief Bhante always reminds us, start with the beginner's mind. So this video is still helpful regardless of your beginner or you are seasonal practitioner. Once you grasp those basic instruction, most important thing is to your practice. Start with very small time allocating small time like 5 minutes. And the other important fact is start your mindfulness practice by mindful walking, because that might helpful or conducive to your subsequent mindful sitting. Once you start your practice, extend that practice to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and so on. Once you complete the practice, 2 hours in total, maybe after a week or so, write it back to us in a form of a report, stating that each type of practicing, while you write in the report, one for mindful walking, mindful sitting, and also you could include your daily mindful practice as well, apart from the sitting and walking. When you write the report, make sure clearly mention the basic primary object of your mindfulness. In the sitting practice, either your in-breath or rising and falling of your tummy, abdomen, and your mindful walking, the touch point of the soles and also pressure points, and then mention how long you were able to be mindful about your primary object and whether you are distracted by the other things, maybe mental distraction or from the outside, distraction coming from the outside. Clearly mention those distraction, and how you get back to your primary object of the mindfulness. That also really important. To send your report, you can use either Google Form, or we have an email address as well. Very important to continue your practice without any breaks, because the continuous practice is very important. You won't see the results immediately, but in the long run, you will see very pleasing results. Now I move into the read out the reports that we have received. Avasarai, Venerable Manu, we have received 3 reports today. I will start with the first report. It's by an adult. Venerable Swamin Mahansa, mindful walking. Walked freely few times and observed the soles of the feet as left and right. I felt the roughness of the floor and the hardness. Observed 8 footsteps in a length. Thoughts appeared and disappeared time to time. Heard noises. Mindful sitting. Last time I was unable to complete my observation of the pain in head completely. So thought of doing again according to Obhavanse's advice. First I sat down in an easy pose and could observe body as a huge rock. Then pain in head grabbed my attention at once. As I observed, I could see various places having severe pain. At some other places, no pain. When I observed closely, I could see some bubbles of pain rising and breaking and disappearing. Pain was like cutting, pulling, pushing, and throbbing. As I was observing without resisting, the pain gradually ceased. Last time I got up soon after, but this time I stayed for 10 more minutes. Then belly movements became conspicuous and I observed it. I could observe 9 movements of the belly in a length. Much merits for Vahanse, Theruwan Saranai, Utum Swamin Vahanse. That's the end of the report, Manu. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadeep. I like that report actually, especially when that talking about pain. It's really nice observation because usually we do walking and sitting in normal way, and most of the time our experience are similar and is similar to yesterday or similar to others or something like that. But here, observing pain, is, maybe Bhante gave her or him advice. So accordingly, she or him did a very good job actually, because the pain is there and observing pain is a very difficult thing, Nadeep. So usually, if you don't have any good kind of established mindfulness, observing pain is a very difficult one. But here he explained the observation very nicely, because it's explain the pain itself, throbbing or burning, or the pain, what kind of pain is there, and the rising and ceasing away of pain. It's observed very nicely. It's very good report when I consider to the observation of pain, and whatever arise within that period of mindfulness practice. If you notice, if you are mindful enough, if your focus is very good in a good manner, then you will notice every phenomena arise and fade away. Every phenomena is arise and fade away, including pain, including breath. Breath also arise and cease. The first breath is not the second one. It's completely different one and completely different feelings it might give. So everything arise is ceasing away or fading away as it comes. In the same way it goes. So this kind of observation is very helpful for us to understand the life. Even pain, emotional pain, just an example, if you have sad feelings, it also goes away. But whenever it is with us, we feel like it is going to be forever. So we are kind of complaining and we are suffering, thinking in that way. That is why we suffer most of the time. We think it is permanent. Whenever sadness is there, whenever the negative feelings are there, we think it is going to be with me forever. So we can't ignore or we can't let go because of that thinking. Because of that thinking, the aversion also arises. So here, very nice. I'm glad to hear this report actually. Good observation towards the pain. So please continue like that. And whenever you have that kind of sad feelings or negative feelings, I mean emotional feelings, just observe like this. So from beginning to end, whatever the thought, try to observe thought from is not a one thing. It's also rise and fade away, rise and fade away. Every phenomena is like that. Thank you for writing that, and thank you for reading.
Much merit, Venerable Manuel. Let me present the second report. That's also by an adult. Sit-in meditation. When there was a flight delay, utilize part of the time to meditate. Primary object was watching the breath. Initially noted the chatter of other passengers, but soon mind came to the breath, noting in and out breaths. Noted warm out breath, and breath broke up and was hardly perceptible. Mind was calm and quiet. Eyes opened spontaneously after half an hour. Daily mindfulness. Had great anxiety before going, knowing I would be driving on the right side of road, within brackets, usually drive on left, whilst on holiday. It was difficult driving at times on very windy roads up mountains with very steep drops on the sides with no road lights in part and cars coming at speed. In a nature reserve, there were no roads but dry, slippery, loose soil and stones and many, many potholes. The first drive after hiring the car was in the dark. The mind was able to see the positive features despite the anxiety. Beautiful moonlight night. Excuse me, Manu. Beautiful moonlit night. Not much traffic as it was late. No rain and no wind. This helped to keep mind calm, and after 2-hour drive reached the destination with great relief. Noted mind was kept calm despite the condition due to just concentrating on the moment rather than worrying about what could not be changed. Whilst walking a lot of the time, the mind stayed on the feet being lifted and placed, allowed plenty of time to get to the airport on return journey, which was useful as we lost our way when walking within the forest in the nature reserve. With much gratitude to Bhante and organizers. That's the end of the report, Manu.
Yeah, I like Nadeep. They take every opportunity for practicing mindfulness. That's very nice. Yeah, so because usually people, they try to escape from those times. They try to find some reasons to not to be practice. But here, it's I noticed several times whenever I come, once in a while I come here. So several times I noticed that most of the time they try to use every opportunity to practice mindfulness. That is very nice and a very good report also. And it is in detail. It's revealing all the details. That's nice. Actually, the overcoming anxiety of going that hard road in a maybe it's a not familiar place also. So it is anxiety is there, yes, but overcoming anxiety is a benefit of mindfulness. If you are mindful, then you are in this very moment, not thinking of anxiety or not thinking of what will happen next or not thinking of what next. So whenever you are not thinking of what next, that means you are very calm. So that is the problem. Whenever we are having anxiety or any kind of mental negative feelings, so it is very hard to concentrate on in this very moment. But whoever the writer is trying to do that, and that relief, still she or he said that I got the relief when she finished the destination, when she reached the destination. That is, underneath all those feelings, there are still that stress is there. But I like that when she or he wrote this report, he mentioned that calmness is still there. Even though the stress is underneath, the calmness, you feel the calmness. That is what actually Buddha said. We can't stop anything. We can't stop everything. Just we need to have the courage or the flexibility to face it. That is what we need to develop. That is what we need that kind of flexibility, that kind of acceptance. So it is here. It's developing. It's a nice report. Thank you, Nadeep.
Much very Venerable Vanaya. Let me present the next report. Another one by an adult. Thero Saranai Bhante. There was an urge to write a report, but later there was discouragement in writing. End of the Paryanka, some points popped out as needing to be mentioned in the report, but there was something like stopping it. Small pieces faded. It's like those fading away in a fog. Time to time, some past incident-related things fade. Now their power is less. It's like they appear after finishing a circle time to time. Even though it goes through so many sudden changes than earlier, there is no labeling as those are problems. It's like leaf that floats in the wind. It goes through what is there without fighting with it. It's like it takes where lessons can be reached and dirt can be seen, which is hidden. Sometimes it is tiring, but it knows that tiredness is unavoidable and needs to be accepted. Sometimes no feelings to engage in anything, within brackets, like fed up. Even though it engages in some activities, it doesn't take them so seriously. It knows that no use in engaging in those, but does without depending on results as early. Sometimes it goes with fading things and return to neutral sooner or later. Sometimes it forgets. Sometimes it reminds things surprisingly to make the work easy. Sometimes it seems as an unchangeable nature above all. whatever it is going through. Even that also not possible to express sometimes. It's like what to say, nothing to say. Theron Saranai Bhante. That's the end of the report, Venerable Manny.
Thank you. Yes, the urge to write, but just postpone. Yeah, the fed up feeling, it is also a fed up, part of fed up feeling. You want to write, you want to do things, but feel like not to do. And everything is like not interest at all. So this is the, according to Buddha, this is the best time of any person's life. If you don't feel to do things, if you feel like fed up, so what you need to do, what you need to think is, don't just say fed up. Just says it is the best time in life. Because if you don't have any urge to do anything, that means your mind is so calm. If someone can say like that, I don't feel like doing anything, but still I'm doing, and I feel like fed up, that means your mind is calm. You don't like it. That is the problem. When you don't like, you give some negative words, some negative meanings to that. But if you want, you can elaborate it with like a positive one. But your mind always refuses to do that. That is the problem. So what you need to do, whoever write this, just accept it and just acknowledge it. That fed up feeling, whatever you are doing, you don't feel like doing it. So that means you have no desire for that. Still you are doing it. So as long as no desire, if you are not having any hatred or any ill will towards that feeling, then you are developing your mindfulness. Here, throughout the report, what I saw, that kind of negative feelings toward this feeling, negative feeling towards this fed up emotion, or negative feeling towards this, if you don't feel to do anything, is what I felt is the negative thing the person should avoid. So the desire is not there, but now you are in a neutral place. There's no desire, no any ill will, or you are just living there, just live. But still, what your mind read it as negative thing. So when you read it as negative thing, you have within you develop kind of hatred feeling towards that feeling. So that is what you need to avoid. So you can't avoid it by force. You need to understand whenever you have the extreme desire or extreme negativity, you feel like nothing is enjoyable. So you need to accept it, acknowledge it, then you will not have that hatred feelings towards the feeling, the negativity or the fed up feeling. When you put that name, fed up, so then itself you gave it to some kind of negativity. So please don't take it as negative feeling. Just take it as something you earned throughout your mindfulness practice. That is what you earn, not something you should avoid. So that is only what I want to say to this report. Just accept it and acknowledge it. You earn it. Just think about it as something you earn it, not something accidentally happen. That is something you earn. Your time and your effort is there underneath that feeling. Thank you, Nadeep.
Much merit, Venerable Manio. That's the end of the reports. Very nice 3 reports, and we got really valuable feedback from Venerable as well. Sonali, do we have time for the verbal questions? A few minutes?
Yeah, a few minutes.
Yeah, okay. So I would like to invite all the participants. If you have any questions, please raise the Zoom hand, and we will let you unmute and speak. Probably I might ask one question until someone present. Asrai Manuel, the 3 reports actually kind of someone written on behalf of, I feel that way, someone written on behalf of me, because I went through the very similar experience the last 2 weeks. I had a COVID-like symptoms about 2 weeks ago. I kind of flat out, couldn't do much, and sleeping. And I had that very strong back pain and headache. I was trying to be mindful and watch the pain, but eventually I gave up and had 2 Panadol once, very last stage. So the pain faded away and it came back next day, but I tried not to take the Panadol straight away. So it lasts for 2-3 days. And then I had this brain fog-like feeling. It's all. If I going to take the decisions, it's not quite clear. But I was very mindful. That blurry kind of feelings. Even I took nearly 3 days off my work. When I get back to the work, I still feel that my body is not ready to do anything. The tiredness, fatigue, everything was there. Up until yesterday, I think that was there. Eventually, I went swimming last night because I didn't have much energy. I thought swimming might help to break that mental fatigue and tiredness. It helped, and I did. I kept practicing my mindful walking and mindful sitting as well, and I did today morning as well. Just want to get some feedback from you, Manu. When I had that foggy mental state, and also still I was able to mindful, but it went by itself. I didn't force. I was actually once trying to. I was thinking, when is this going to go away? When this is going to go away? That about nearly 7-8 days it was there, but only yesterday I feel like I got back to the. I don't know. I don't want to say it myself, the being myself. I feel that way. It's only last night. Yeah, I just want to share that experience with you, Venerable Manu.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
What do you think about that experience?
Well, this is the 3rd time I went through that experience. Because of my past experience, I thought I don't have any control what is happening. I let whatever comes, it's going to go away by itself. I don't have any control. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, because you are right that the report also related also, I think. The thing is whenever whatever we grab, with the hatred feeling, either with the hatred feeling or the desire, that doesn't go away. So that goes like the continuing loop. It continue again and again whenever you have that either hatred feeling or desire or both. Whenever you are having that kind of how do you call chain thought, you can't. Whenever you give up, in that minute you will you will win. So give up is the best thing to do, but it is very hard to give up.
Okay.
At that time it is very hard. So you can use some other things like listen to Dhamma Desana or something like that. Then your mind thought the 10 thoughts will disappear for a while. Then sometimes you can recover.
Exactly. That's
It's
what
very
I did.
hard.
That's also I did, Vanaya. Yes, I did. Because I was thinking what Lukubante saying when we were in such a situation, either do metta meditation or reflection of the Buddha, reflection of the Dhamma. I tried many things. I let that feeling without fighting it. I let it be. It's very hard, but I let it be as it is. Yeah.
I will give you some example. If I don't know, Sonali or you have this experience. If you pull out your one tooth, so for a week or so, still brain recognize there's the tooth. Did you experience it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the same way. Whenever you get sick, the brain is still thinking, okay, you are sick. You have
Absolutely.
foggy mind. You have that pain. That is that thinking pattern. You have to avoid, or you have to break that thinking pattern with the mindfulness, either with mindfulness or something else you need to put instead of that thinking pattern. So otherwise, brain is still read that, still reading it the same way. Pain is like that also. That is why painkillers, otherwise the painkillers do nothing. So what they do is they help us to forget the pain. So that then when the brain forget it, then it's easy to recover. Otherwise, the brain is the one, the mind is the one actually doing all the things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Much relate, Honorable Man here. Yeah. Anyone else would like to share the experience or anything? Still have a couple of minutes. Okay. Doesn't seem so, Sonali. I would like to hand over to you and after Manu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nadeep, and thank you, Venerable Rohini. So all your reports and questions are very good example for all of us. It's if you think if it's just you going through that, it's actually mistaken, because we are all at some point have gone through everything that you have described. So it's relatable to all of us. So thank you very much for that. And so before we end the session, I will quickly share the slide with you with all the retreat dates for Venerable Dhammajiva Thero's visit. And I will put it on the chat again as well, so that you can... oh, unfortunately, I don't have the dates, all of the dates here. Let me copy this. I'll share the screen again. I have... it's all in the chat as well. So you would need to contact the relevant person for the relevant session. Please note down these details of the person who's in charge of each session, and they need to be contacted to book in for each of these sessions. So I'm hoping you have had enough time to note down the details. I did share them last week as well. I will share them once again next week if anyone wants to participate in these sessions. If anyone's missed that, write to us at Beginners NV and I will share the details with you. So that concludes our session today. And on behalf of all the organizers, I'd like to thank Venerable Rohini for today's your guidance on today's program and last week's as well. And of course, our usual guide, Venerable Homagama Dhamma Kusala Thero, for his usual attendance and guidance on this program. And of course, not forgetting the Chief Abbot of Nissarana Vanaya, Venerable Udairikam Dhammajiva Mahathero, whose idea was to initiate this program and is still guiding us as well. May this merit help them to improve their own practices as well. Thank you to all the organizers who are maintaining everything behind the scene and working really hard to bring this program to you, and to everyone who shares your views, reports, and joining us via Facebook live stream, Zoom, and anyone who may be watching later as well. As usual, our program will commence at 1 p.m. at Sri Lankan time, and hope you all have a happy and mindful week ahead. I will now end the session for everyone.